Hi everyone, my name is Thi Jung Min and this is my digital report for the course applying Universal Design Access for All. In this report, I will discuss the importance of literacy skills for disabled individuals and the need for accessible libraries to ensure that everyone can access and use library resources and service independently. The Toronto Public Library is a library that has strong emphasis on accessibility and inclusion. However, despite meeting accessibility criteria, the library noise levels can be high and make it difficult for some individuals to work effectively. The concepts of universal design, which go beyond physical accessibility to include social and cultural accessibility, is also discussed. I will emphasize the importance of creating inclusive space that accommodate the diverse experience of disability and how a lack of accessibility can make individuals feel excluded and frustrated. Finally, the challenge of the impact of noise level faced by autistic individuals and those with high sensitivity of studying it also discusses. Many disabled people have faced barriers to accessing education, such as inaccessible learning materials and a lack of support, which can prevent them from developing essential skills. Accessible libraries ensure that individuals with disability can access and use library resources and service independently. The Toronto Public Library is the largest public library system in Canada. One of the unique features of the Toronto Public Library is its emphasis on accessibility and inclusion. The library provides service and resources for individuals with disability, including large screens and books, outdoor material, etc. And according to the criteria set by Access Now, this location was supposed to be accessible. I observed that the ambient noise level within the library are relatively high. The staff of the library are held in high esteem and are rated as hospitable and welcoming. However, they do not make a concern. However, they do not make a concerted effort to maintain a quiet environment. The library allows children to engage in noisy activities like including playing games at high volumes. As a result, some individuals find the environment unsuitable for work. I frequently visit this library to use the resources because it is located not far from where I live, but I have had a number of negative experiences similar to experience. In order to be more objective, I checked the Google reviews to see if everyone had the same experience as I had. And the following are some example of outstanding comments. From this point, it is obvious that the noise in this library is not a one-time occurrence, but rather a regular occurrence. Even though the staff is not be thought to be committed to the job of a librarian, they do not manage to take any responsibility for keeping the place quiet. According to Amy Harren, universal design needs to go beyond mere physical accessibility and should also include social and cultural accessibility. The library should be a place where people can work properly and have an accessible environment. We require an environment conducive to studying, which is often found in library setting. While design architecture factors promote accessibility, the environmental condition of the library also require attention and consideration. By incorporating participatory design and considering social and cultural accessibility, universal design can benefit users by creating environments that are not only physically accessible, but also inclusive and welcoming for people of all ability and disability. Space can have a significant impact on how disabled people feel as contributing citizens. In many educational contexts, disabled people have been excluded or separated from mainstream settings, which can lead to feeling of isolation and exclusion. The diverse of experience of disability must also be taken into account when creating inclusive space. Different disabilities can have varying impacts on an individual's life. A lack of accessibility in a space can make individuals feel exclusive and frustrated and can prevent them from fully participating in society as contributing citizens. Although I don't mind noise in public place a lot, being distracted by noise can keep me from studying because I want to find a place that is quiet enough to allow me to focus entirely on it. So I also wonder where people with high sensitive should go to be able to self-study, why the library is the place to self-admit. One of the key factors that can impact on how people feel in the library is the level of noise. While some people may find a certain level of ambient noise to be soothing or conducive to concentration, others may find it overwhelming or distracting. For many autistic people, background noise can make it difficult to understand auditory information and separate for a while from background noise, which can be very taxing. This can also be a problem for people who are blind or deaf. Applying universal design to a space is something that should be seriously considered in many ways. The experience of disability is complex and multifaceted, shaped by different types of impairments and degrees of severity. The degree of impairment can vary from mild to severe, impacting varying areas of a person's life. To understand the diverse experience of disability requires a lot of holistic and intersectional approach that recognize the unique needs and challenges faced by people with disability. There are several considerations that can improve the experience. Firstly, installing sound absorbing material such as carpet, drop, and ceiling tile can help reduce overall noise level in library. Additionally, provide design quiet zone or study area can help to create a more conducive environment for concentration and reduce distraction for all users. Another option would be to offer noise cancelling headphone or earplug for users who require additional support in managing sensory overload or concentration difficulties. In conclusion, by implementing this recommendation, the library can become a more inclusive and accessible space for all users. The application of universal design is essential in creating an inclusive study environment for all students, including those with various behavioral and mental health needs. To fully achieve the goal of inclusivity. Universal design learner expect me to develop strategies that account for the challenges these students face, including creating safe and comfortable space that allow them to disclose the invisible disability. By cooperating these approaches, we can create an educational environment that is not only accessible for all students, but also promote a sense of belonging and provide support for every individual. And that's the end of my report. Thank you for listening.